Hi, I'm Matthew Lapp, host of Matthew Lapp Train Guy Segment Show. Also today in this segment, I'm at the Grand Z Casino in Central City, Colorado. The Grand Z Casino is located on 321 Gregory Street in Central City, Colorado. Also, it is a casino hotel as well. Also, just on the way up to the parking garage of the Fortune Valley Hotel, you'll even spot a steam locomotive and a baggage car from the narrow gauge Colorado and Southern Railroad standing on the stone wall as well. Okay, you can see right here two mine carts in front of me. They are displayed adjacent to the Grand Z Hotel. And yeah, they were used in the mines in this area a long time ago, but now here they are as a decoration today. What you see right behind me is Colorado and Southern 71.
Colorado and Southern 71 was built by Baldwin in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in 1897 and is the 151/42nd steam locomotive built by that factory and is a 280 consolidation type steam locomotive and is a B4E class steam locomotive. This locomotive was originally used for the Union Pacific Denver and Gulf Railway as Union Pacific Denver and Gulf Railway 9. Then, in 1899, it was transferred to the Colorado and Southern Railroad and renumbered as Colorado and Southern 71 and worked for the Colorado and Southern narrow gauge line. And then later, the locomotive was then retired, and in 1941, it was donated to the Central City Opera House Association in Central City, Colorado, and hauled up the canyon to Black Hawk, Colorado. In 1987, it was then restored to operation and ran for a couple more years on a tourist railroad called the Colorado Central Narrow Gauge Railroad, and then was moved to Silver Plume, Colorado, and then came back to Central City, Colorado, where it was placed on display in front of the Coeur d'Alene mine overlooking the city. It was then put on top of a stone wall in its current spot next to the Grand Z Casino in Central City, Colorado, where it's set on display today. Also, Colorado and Southern 71 is one of 6 remaining Colorado and Southern 280s that survive today and is one of 4 narrow gauge 280s from the Colorado and Southern surviving today, and 71 can be found right here next to the Grand Z Casino in Central City, Colorado as well.
What you see right behind me is Colorado and Southern 20.
Colorado and Southern 20 was built by the Colorado Central Shops in Golden, Colorado in 1878 and is a combination baggage coach. The coach was originally built as a coach baggage car and originally used by the Colorado Central Railroad and originally numbered as Colorado Central 6 and used on passenger trains of the Colorado Central Railroad. Then in 1885 it was renumbered as Union Pacific 736 and used on the narrow gauge Union Pacific line on passenger trains. Then in 1890 it was transferred to the Union Pacific Denver and Gulch as Union Pacific Denver and Gulch 736. Then in 1897 was renumbered to Union Pacific Denver and Gulch 46 and was used on the Union Pacific Denver and Gulch line. Then in 1899 the car was finally transferred to the Colorado and Southern Railroad and renumbered as Colorado and Southern 121 as it was given that number. Then in 1906 was renumbered as Colorado and Southern 20, which it is presently, and even says Adams Express Company next to the baggage door as well. Colorado and Southern 20 was rebuilt in 1915 and lost its baggage and platform if it hadn't earlier. In 1925 the coach was designated a wrecking outfit car and renumbered as Colorado and Southern 025. Then later, the coach went back to being number 20 and was then retired and went to be part of the Central City Opera House Association in Central City, Colorado in 1941 and hauled up the canyon to Blackhawk, Colorado. In 1987, it was then restored to operation and ran for a couple more years on a tourist railroad called the Colorado Central Narrow Gauge Railroad and being hauled by Colorado and Southern 28071 and then was moved to Silver Plume, Colorado and then came back to Central City, Colorado where it is placed on display in front of the Coeur d'Alene mine overlooking the city. It was then put on top of a stone wall in its current spot next to the Grand Z Casino in Central City, Colorado, where it is set on display behind the steam locomotive today.
Well, I hope you all enjoyed learning about trains with me today in Matthew Lapp Train Guy segment show. Also, I hope to see you all again in the next segment, and also if you didn't subscribe to the channel yet, please consider doing so. And if you did not give my Facebook page a like yet, please consider doing so, but here it is up here. And if you didn't follow it on Instagram, it will pop up just now. So this is Matthew Lapp, host of Matthew Lapp Train Guy segment show, signing out until next time. All aboard!